You may not notice them at first. They don't come into your life waving red flags or shouting warnings. They walk in gently, often smiling. They tell you they understand. They make you feel seen in a way no one else has. You open the door, you let them in, and before long, they're sitting comfortably inside your world, rearranging the furniture of your mind, quietly erasing the boundaries of your soul. Carl Jung once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." But what happens when you don't recognize the darkness, not because it's hidden, but because it's wearing the face of someone you love, or trust, or admire? There are 6 kinds of people Jung warns us about, 6 psychological poisons that destroy silently. Not all at once. Not with noise. But drop by drop, like water onto stone. And by the time you realize it, you're no longer the person you were. These people don't just harm you. They hollow you. And this is not a speech to scare you. This is a call for protection, for self-preservation. Because the greatest tragedy isn't what they do to you. It's what you do to yourself after they're gone, the self-doubt, the guilt, the broken trust that lingers long after their footsteps have disappeared. Let's begin. The eternal victim asterisk. The first is the eternal victim, a person whose wounds scream louder than their voice. You meet them and feel an instant pull to protect. They've suffered, they've been betrayed, life has been cruel to them, or so they say. And you, with your compassion and your light, you want to heal them. But Jung warns, beware of those who do not want healing, those who are addicted to their suffering because it gives them identity. The eternal victim thrives on your empathy. They twist your kindness into obligation. They weaponize your care until you're drained, depleted, and constantly apologizing for things you never did. You start carrying their pain like it's your own. And the worst part? When you finally try to draw a boundary, they'll call it betrayal. They'll paint you as the villain in their never-ending tragedy, and if you're not careful, you'll stay, out of guilt, out of pity, out of fear. But hear this, you cannot save someone who is committed to being broken. Love does not require self-destruction. And walking away is not abandonment. It is survival. The shadow projections asterisk. The second kind is far more insidious, the ones who project their shadow onto you. Jung taught us that every human carries a shadow, the dark, unconscious parts of ourselves we refuse to see. But some people refuse to take ownership of that darkness. Instead, they find someone else, someone close, and pour that shadow into them. That someone might be you. These are the people who blame you for things they secretly struggle with. They accuse you of being selfish when they themselves are empty. They call you angry when it is their rage they cannot face. They label you weak when it's their own vulnerability they fear. They turn you into a mirror they hate looking into, and then punish you for the reflection. And if you are gentle, if you are sensitive, you will begin to wonder if they're right. You'll question your worth. You'll twist yourself into knots trying to be less difficult, more perfect, good enough. But it's never enough. Because they are not fighting with you. They are fighting with themselves, using you as the battlefield. You must stop playing that role. You are not a dumpster for unresolved emotions. You are not a scapegoat for internal wars. Anyone who cannot face their darkness will only keep feeding it, with your peace. The manipulator of truth asterisk. The third dangerous person is the manipulator of truth. Not the obvious liar, but the one who distorts reality slowly, carefully, with the precision of a surgeon. These people do not argue with you. They make you argue with yourself. They take facts and twist them, they question your memory, they deny your experience until you start wondering if you're going insane. It's called gaslighting, and it's one of the most psychologically violent things one human can do to another. You'll say, "This hurt me," and they'll say, "You're too sensitive." You'll say, "You said this," and they'll respond, "You imagined it." And eventually, you'll stop speaking up at all. You'll learn to walk on eggshells in your own home, in your own mind. You'll become silent not because you're at peace, but because you've been psychologically silenced. Jung warned that this kind of person is a danger to your sanity because they attack the very foundation of what keeps you stable, your trust in your own perception. To survive them, you must reclaim your truth. Speak it. Write it. Tattoo it to your memory if you must. Because once you lose your grip on what is real, they win. The envious soul asterisk. The fourth is the one we rarely suspect, the envious soul. They smile when you rise, but the smile doesn't reach their eyes. They offer support, but it drips with resentment. They celebrate your success in public, and undermine you in private. They are the ones who cannot bear your light, because it reminds them of their own darkness. Jung believed envy was one of the most destructive forces in human psychology, because it masks itself as admiration. These people will not attack you directly. No. That would be too honest. Instead, they'll poison you with subtle jabs. A backhanded compliment here. A dismissive shrug there. A seed of doubt, a sarcastic remark, always delivered with a laugh, always wrapped in, "just kidding." But you'll feel it. Deeply. Every time. Because envy doesn't shout, it whispers. And over time, you'll dim yourself just to stay safe. You'll hide your wins. You'll shrink. Don't. Never apologize for growing. Never silence your brilliance for someone who fears their own potential. The world doesn't need more people playing small. It needs you, fully lit. The narcissist. The fifth is the narcissist. But not the charming, surface-level egoist most people think of. No, the dangerous narcissist is more than self-centered. They are psychologically starving, and you are their food. To the narcissist, people are not people. They are sources of validation, mirrors to reflect glory, pawns to control, and tools to discard when no longer useful. At first, they are intoxicating. They flood you with love, attention, praise. They make you feel like the most important person in the world. That is not affection. It is bait. Because once they're sure they've got you, the mask begins to crack. Suddenly, you're being criticized for the same things they once admired. Your independence becomes selfishness. Your honesty becomes disrespect. Your needs become burdens. They will punish you with silence, reward you with breadcrumbs of affection, and leave you begging for the person they once pretended to be. Jung believed narcissists were deeply unconscious people, trapped in a false self, a mask so well-crafted even they believe it. But the truth is this, beneath their arrogance is a hollow abyss. They fear being ordinary, unseen, unloved, and so they steal energy from everyone around them to stay afloat. But you are not a battery to be drained. You are not here to sustain someone's illusion of greatness. Your love is not currency. And your worth is not dependent on someone else's ability to recognize it. You owe yourself the freedom to walk away, even if they call it betrayal. It's not. It's reclaiming your life from someone who only loved the reflection, never the person. The emotionally dead. And then, finally, the most quietly dangerous of them all, the emotionally dead. They don't scream. They don't manipulate. They don't lie or flatter. They just aren't there. They cannot feel with you. They cannot reach you. They cannot hold space for your joy, your grief, your complexity. These are the people who dismiss emotion as weakness, who scoff at vulnerability, who see your tears and blink like nothing happened. And you, with your open heart, your desire for depth, you will bleed trying to awaken them. You'll tell them your secrets and watch their eyes glaze over. You'll share your fears and receive a shrug. You'll ask for presence and get absence wrapped in silence. And in time, you'll begin to numb yourself. Not because you want to, but because pain is unbearable when met with indifference. Jung believed the emotionally dead are not evil. But they are dangerous. Because they teach you that your emotional world is too much. They force you to hide the very things that make you human. And nothing is more painful than loving someone who makes you feel alone while lying next to them. You deserve a heart that listens. A soul that feels. A presence that holds. You deserve to be mirrored in your joy, not muted in your suffering. Walk away from those who cannot meet you where you are, no matter how quietly they fail you. And now we return to you. You who have given too much. Loved too deeply. Believed too earnestly. This is not a speech meant to harden you. It is meant to soften you toward yourself, to teach you where not to bleed, and who not to die for. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So make it conscious now. The people who drained you were not fate. They were a lesson. A mirror. A call to awaken. There will always be dangerous people. That will not change. But what must change, what can change, is the way you choose yourself in the face of their chaos. You are allowed to walk away without giving reasons. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to be loved in a way that doesn't feel like survival. Because you were not born to be manipulated, drained, invalidated, or erased. You were born to be whole. And sometimes, wholeness begins with goodbye. Goodbye to the victim who made your life a prison. Goodbye to the projector who fought their demons on your skin. Goodbye to the gaslighter who rewrote your reality. Goodbye to the envious friend who couldn't clap when you won. Goodbye to the narcissist who loved only their reflection. Goodbye to the one who could never feel you. And hello, finally, to yourself.